Welcome to the Dr. Donna podcast, here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Innovative, evidence-based recovery that helps to identify intergenerational trauma, allowing for freedom and embracement of the healing process. Today, episode 138, More on Trauma, Part 2. And now your host, Dr. Donna Bevan-Lee.
I'm Dr. Donna Bevan-Lee. Welcome to my podcast. I've started talking about trauma again because we're experiencing some these days. I know it seems like, especially with the climate change, we're kind of in a traumatic event, but we can't do anything while we're upset. Okay, while we're in a constant state of fight, flight, freeze, and so I was talking about some of the ways that people can take care of themselves, and I want to continue that today. When I talk about practicing mindfulness, grounding, and centering, if you're in great distress, all right, you're probably not going to sit down in a lotus position and try and quiet your mind, okay? It's kind of not possible to do that unless that's one of your escapes. And oh, by the way, I know people who do so much mindfulness and meditation that it affects their relationships, their jobs, their interaction with their children. Okay? That means it's an addiction. So, practicing mindfulness, grounding, and centering is good for the soul, okay? And it's good to keep you grounded in the moment. That's what it's for. It's not to escape. It's to help you stay in the moment. Because in reality, that's all you have. Like right this moment is what I know to be true. Okay, right this moment. I'm sitting here. I am taping a podcast about trauma and how to work with yourself so that you can become resilient going through a traumatic event versus, developing mental illness like post-traumatic stress, like depression and anxiety. All those things have their basis in trauma. So, this today though is about being able to get in the moment and stay in the moment. Because what you don't want to do if you're going through a trauma is run it through over and over and over again. If you think about how memories are stored in your mind, it's like every time you think about it, you light up that neural canal and, those synapses get fired. And then your body responds like it's going through that traumatic event again. So, I'm not talking about just deny it and block it. I'm just talking about getting back in the present. So you can say, let's say you've had a huge fight with someone in your family and you are, you're shocked by it, okay? And you're traumatized by it because this is somebody you quote, thought you knew, and they are, blasting you and you're shocked and amazed because you were just having a conversation, say, about what everybody's going to do at Christmas or something. And it's like now blowing at you. So someone is verbally being abusive to you, emotionally being abusive to you. But the big trauma is that this is somebody that you would have turned to if you ever needed anything because they're a family member. So, in that kind of trauma, if you keep thinking about it and, you can't let go of it, one of the ways that you can that will help you is by doing meditation or centering or grounding to get you back in the moment. Okay. So let's say you're gone now. You've, had this big blow up. You're gone now. You're back in your own house, or they're back in their own house, or you're off the phone now, or whatever, in whatever way you had this interaction. When you start thinking about it again, you say, do I really want this running through my mind? Like a bad song or something? Do I really want this running through my mind? And if you don't, you just ground yourself. And it's like, where am I right now? Well, I'm in my own house. Are they here? No. So do I need to feel this feeling right now? No, I don't. Okay. Before I make any decisions about what I might want to do with that person, like you might say, I'll never speak to them again, and I'm going to, ghost them, and I'm not going to return their calls or their texts or whatever. You don't want to make those kind of decisions when you are still in that kind of like state of trauma. Because you want to wait until you are calm again. Okay? And the way you get calm is you get rooted in the present. Okay? You can focus on your breathing. That's one of the things that anybody can do anytime. Because if you are breathing, you can do this. And the way you do it is you focus on your breathing. How do you do that? You say, okay, I'm just inhaling that breath now. I hold it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I release it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do it again. Breathing in. Count to 4 or 5. Breathing out. Count to 4 or 5 or 6, however long it takes you to get that breath out. So you're focusing on your breathing. I'd like you to think about that right now. This very minute, I'd like you to focus on your breathing just to see if you can do it. So inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. Let it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I said, you can do that counting in whatever way it works best for you. But did you feel that calm? If you were really doing that, you probably felt a little calm. And your body responds to that. It's like your blood pressure will drop over time. You can slow your heart rate down. You just feel more calm. Another way to do that is listen to calming music. Calming music. And that could be, any kind of music you would like to listen to. I myself get out my records that I carried around all of my life and listen to what we call long hair music. It means we're listening to Beethoven or Bach or, Stravinsky. Probably not Tchaikovsky. He gets pretty wild. But listening to that music, I find calming. Whatever is calming to you. If you listen to it and you get all jacked, that's not calming. You can go into, like we have here, a church. I don't go, but they have open to the community this rather large labyrinth. And for those of you who don't know what a labyrinth is, that they made this like circle, big circle with rocks. And there's a path that goes through the circle, and you go in one way, and you're supposed to find how you get out the other way by just walking around. So you're walking and you're looking at your feet and the ground, and you run into little, it's like, oh, this isn't the way out. Okay, so I go back and walk around some more, walk in some other ways until you find out, until you get out. That's very calming, because the only thing you're doing is you are in the moment. Okay. Now, when I'm on a hike, that's what I do. I will look down a lot of the times because I don't want to trip over big rocks and roots. The rocks and roots problem is, I'm sure they're everywhere. I mean, I've been to Florida. I've hiked around in the Everglades, there's rocks and roots there. So there's rocks and roots. And if you are a hiker, you know that you can look down and also look at the trees and listen to the birds and, the sky, and notice other things that are going on. See the deer that are loping around out there. It's like you can do all that while you're still looking at rocks and roots. And basically, you're just meditating. So, or, if you find there can be spaces that you can just find calm. Okay. Some people find it in their churches. They can go in there anytime and sit and, just find some calm. Sometimes you can look out your window. If you have trees, if you have grass, I look out the window at my memorial tree. That's where, people who died during the pandemic, when I couldn't go to their services, I planted a tree, and then I put little stones around it for people that I lost. I call it my memorial tree. And I look out there and I feel calm about that. So those are all ways that you can calm your body and yourself down. Now, there's some other ways that you can do it. Like if you don't have a tree to look at, you can close your eyes and stand and feel, we are connected anyway to this earth. And you can stand there and imagine that your feet have roots. Wherever you're standing, I have roots. And you can imagine what that would be like. And you can feel that yourself. All these are meditations. So I would strongly suggest you do this. This will help you live better and longer. I mean, if you're not having rapid heart rates and, high blood pressure and all that, your body will respond to that. And it likes it. Another thing you can do is you become helpful to other people who are having similar feelings as you. So, especially in big traumas, a lot of people will be having a lot of the same feelings you do, and you can help them by listening. That's all you have to do. Or saying, is there something I can do to help you? It's like I have a friend who has bad asthma, and when days like today where we've got too much smoke to even go outside, I could call her up. How are you doing? Because I don't like being, I do stay home sometimes, but I don't like being forced to stay in my house because the smoke's too bad. But I could call up and talk to somebody who is in a similar situation that I know probably is in a little bit more distress than me, because with asthma, you never know what's going to trigger it. Physical connection with someone who you identify as a safe person, it's like that increases your serotonin. Serotonin is nature's stabilizer. Talked about this before a long time ago, but serotonin is a chemical that gets released into your brain when you feel safe, when you feel joy. Okay. It's like if you can find a way to start laughing and it's like people know that when they laugh, they feel better. That serotonin has been released into your system just by laughing. But with another person, you can hold hands, you can get a hug, snuggling with somebody that you are safe with, like, your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend. And, it makes people feel connected, no matter who they are. Hugging someone safe, holding hands with someone safe, even sitting next to them where your arms are touching, releases serotonin into your brain, and it helps to stabilize you. So, unsafe people can compound some of those feelings of loss and fear. So make sure you choose someone that really is safe. All right. Because if somebody that's unsafe, I have that reaction when somebody who has what I call toxic positivity, meaning that I mentioned before, it's like everything is wonderful all the time and it's not as bad as you think it is. It's like, that doesn't help people when they're in trauma. And I don't even like to, be around that, let alone get a hug from someone like that. Because if you hug someone like that, they will invalidate your feelings right then and there without even speaking. Doesn't make you feel better. Makes you feel worse. So choose carefully. All right. Then, one of the things that I do and have done over time, and some of my friends think I overreact. I don't think I do. But that traumatic event in Lahaina is a very good example of why you should be aware and prepared for things that can happen in your life, in your community. Okay. So like I live inland. I live east of big mountains. And so my guess is that because there's big mountains there on the west side, probably not unless I'm having, not unless it's a extinction event, am I going to be impacted personally by a tsunami. Like I said, unless it's an extinction event, there's probably not going to be a tsunami big enough that can make it over those 13,000 foot peaks, okay? So I'm probably not going to prepare for a tsunami. But I do live in an area of the world where we know we're going to have forest fires. We have forests everywhere. And all you need is lightning strikes. And sometimes I will call it what it is, morons who can't figure out how to put the campfire out, or people with no moral compass that throw their cigarette butts out the window into like tinder grasses, that light immediately and cause forest fires. They're out there too. But most of our fires here, some of the big ones have been caused by people, but most of them are caused by lightning strikes. No matter what is going to cause them, I know that I could end up dealing with forest fire. Now, I don't live in the forest, but because of where I live, we have all kinds of pine trees and they get dry too. And there's dry grasses, that have, have grown all around. We had a lot of water this year. We had a lot of snow. We even had big rains. So as a result of that, we have a lot of grasses, and they're now dry. So we know that we are going to have fires. All right. So I prepared myself to be able to get the heck out of Dodge if I need to. And if the roads are blocked, I have prepared a way to get out, even if the roads are blocked. And we are ready. We have little practice sessions because I don't want to be trapped. Okay. And I want to be a survivor of something like that. Now, you can be very well, you can be ready for something like that, but you can't control the outcome. Okay, that's true for all of life. Right? You can be prepared, but you can't control outcomes. So I'm prepared to have to leave if I need to, but I can't control the outcome. I mean, I've done everything I can, and now I just live my life. I don't really think about it very much, unless I'm going to have a little dry run. No pun intended. So these are some of the things that you can do when you have experienced trauma. Now, if you saw on the news those people in Hawaii trying to get away and they couldn't leave, you might want to consider, if I live in fire country, and they don't live in fire country, but you never know what's going to happen. They do have hurricanes, and that impacted those fires. But what do you do if you need to get away? And how are you going to manage 3 days to a week or even longer if there's no food, no water? What are you going to do? How are you going to manage that? And that's what I call, okay, you think about that. And get prepared. I know in our state, anyway, you can go online and look for how to prepare for a disaster in Oregon. And they'll send you to a lot of places that will tell you how to do it. And that's probably true for every state. So those are some of the things that you can do to take care of yourself if you've experienced a trauma. Now, I don't like when I can't go outside, but I'm not as affected as, say, people who have breathing problems. So I'll reach out to them and see how they're doing and see if there's anything I can do and if they're okay. But, in the rest of the day, I have things that I do all day long that keep me grounded, even if I can't go out and be outside the way I want to. Now, I have, I also wanted to talk about how you experienced, were you resilient when you were a child? Did you get experiences that you came through smarter, wiser, and stronger as a child? And I was thinking about this the other day, about people in my young life, like other kids, people that were my companions or friends when I was young, and how we made it through some of the trauma that we went through together as kids. Because children, we might not think that they're very resilient, but they are way more resilient than adults. First of all, they don't have a whole crap load of trauma that's unresolved because they haven't lived that long yet. But they have fewer resources They have a lot of internal resources because they just don't have the baggage, but they don't have external resources. And sometimes they don't understand what's going on. And so, I want to talk a little bit about you as a child, how you went through it, and how, the kind of meaning that you gave to it, because that's a big piece too. It's like, what is the meaning that you give to this traumatic event? We all do it, whether we know it or not. And I would also like you to think about how you and your friends resolve these things. Because most of the time, unless you're being sexually abused by a family member, you're going through these events with other kids. So next time, that's what I want to talk about. So start thinking about that.
Thank you for listening to the Dr. Donna podcast here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. This channel is made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Dr. Donna podcast is copyright 2023 Dr. Donna Bevan-Lee, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.
Hey friends, Sean here, your Experience of the Soul producer. I want to take a moment to tell you about something truly exciting. The SoulWorks online community, created by your host, Cynthia Alice Anderson, and available on the Mighty Networks app. If you're looking for a place where you can explore your spiritual path, connect with others, and grow in a meaningful way, then this is for you. SoulWorks is so much more than an online community. It's a safe, inclusive space for spiritual exploration, self-discovery, and personal transformation. Inside the community, you'll find everything from uplifting spiritual studies to soul-centered growth practices, meditations, affirmations, and so much more. It's a space where you'll always be supported and never judged. The best part, membership is free. You'll have access to powerful resources, inspiring content, and a supportive group of like-minded people who are all on their own unique spiritual journeys. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there are premium options available to enhance your experience with a live Monday night talk series and extended, deeper meditations. If you're seeking a place to connect, grow, and nurture your soul, we would love to have you join us in the SoulWorks community and see where this journey can take you. Visit my.soulworkscommunity.com today.